Hi there, this is Michael from Jotto Imaging Supplies coming to you with a very short video and in fact a customer request, and this is about metal panels, so HD panels. And I have a recipe for HD panels that I don't find a lot of people using on the internet, and certainly my customers don't seem to be aware of it, so let's bring it out. This is an 8x8 Olympics HD panel. I've already removed the plastic from it, and I have placed a full bleed image ready for sublimation on there. I've used a Sawgrass SG1000, and I have used the metal HD panel setting for that. As well, I am using the Paraffin Premium sublimation paper. This is the best paper that you can get out there right now. I'll put it against anybody else's. I love it, and its real secret is that it is a high release paper, which means that less ends up on the paper at the end and more on your substrate. So what do I do that's a little different when it comes to the HD panels? Well, my time and temperature for an 8x8 is 370 for 70 seconds. Now, honestly, I could probably get away with something like a 360 for 65 seconds, but just to make sure I'm upping that a tiny bit, just to make sure I'm getting that full release activation. As well, when you're using larger panels, you do wish to increase your time and temperature, but not a lot. Gradual, smaller increases based on the size of your print, particularly your time, because you are dealing with a larger piece of metal, and you have to get that metal up to heat. Now, another thing that I do very differently than most people is when I press it so that this is the side touching my heat, hitting my heat platen. So in fact, my white side of the metal is facing down, and my printed image is actually facing up. And the reason I do that is to keep the intensity of this heat from the heat platen off my coating. The metal will heat up to full heat from the platen, and it will distribute that heat evenly as long as you've got decent pressure. So that's really all you need to worry about. You don't have to have it face up against this heat and potentially damage your coating. When you damage your coating, one of the ways that you can tell you're damaging it is you get spotting on your coating. That's an overheated coating. That spottiness, especially you'll hold it up to the light and you're like, why is it spotty? Because you're up against the heat. By turning it down, you save yourself that. And you can also prevent things like if you have really like too much heat and for too long, you can even crack that coating, and that will show up in chipping on the corners. And I've even seen, and this is for the first time, almost like a glass shatter effect in the coating. And that's clearly too hot for too long. All right, so let's do this up. Like I said, this is an 8x8 Olympics. All right, we're gonna put a sheet of parchment paper underneath and another one on top. That's really just to keep my ink from getting onto my platen, top and bottom platens. I'm using a medium pressure. You don't need heavy pressure for this. A lot of folks also use too much pressure, so be thoughtful of that. And once I've got that all set up and arranged and I've got my settings in, it's going to be a simple matter of closing it up, and I'm going to go get my gloves. So here we go. Let's see you in 70 seconds. All right, so we've popped. Oh, I stuck to the ceiling there. Here we go. Time for the big reveal. I love this part. I'm going to take a peek first. Oh, I love it when I'm right. I do love it when I am right. And so here we are with a brilliant, and I don't know, you're not going to probably be able to see this, but when you look at the light bouncing off of the image, you're not going to see any of that spotting, right? It's a nice full bleed, complete image, no cracking. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And if we take a look at the release paper, we can see how little there is left on there. Now, it would be easier to understand if I had a comparison for you, but certainly that's a nice release. So guys, be really thoughtful about your time and temperature. If you're doing it too long and too hot, you can damage the HD panel. and you won't get the results that you want. Also, turning it face down helps to protect it from the intense heat of that upper platen. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael with Giotto Imaging Supplies. If you like this content, please like the video. If you really like it, subscribe and tell your friends. And until next time, we read all the comments. We want to hear from you what you want to see from us. Thank you again for joining us. See you next time.